Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for following all our programs. And I warmly welcome you to this week's edition of One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa. Like I always say, we discuss variety, but mainly focusing on those pertinent issues that are of concern to you, your family, your community, and of course the beautiful Pearl of Africa. Now, in 1962, while getting independence, Kampala was declared the capital of Uganda. And it has been so for all this long, since 1962 to date. Leadership has changed and different formalities of how the city has been managed has been changing over time. And today it is an authority. The authority has a political wing and a technical wing. The political wing has the Lord Mayor and the council to the ground, and the technical wing has the executive director and her team still to the grassroots of the whole city. In all the 5 divisions, that's Kampala Central, Kawempe, Nakawa, Machindye, and Rubaga division. So we want to get to know this weekend what Kampala is about. Those of us that stay in the city and work here, we know. But we want to hear from the administrators of the city about what is happening, what is their view. There are those things that we see happening in the city, but we may not understand. What are the administrators saying about these issues and what is going to be done? We may not understand something, yet actually it is happening for a reason, or there could be plans that we don't know. And that is not being done, why is it that way? That is the time we are dedicating this evening. And our guest is none other than the Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority. Her name is Mrs. Dorothy Kisaka. This is not her first time to appear on this screen. I think we were the first person to talk to her when she had just assumed the office. So probably we may take an assessment of her time in office since we last talked, or also have a discussion. Madam Dorothy, we are so glad to have you on the show. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to our studio that we have mounted in your gardens.
Yes, you're welcome to our beautiful green gardens here at KCCA City Hall. And it's a real pleasure to, you know, UBC is our passion. That is our station. And we always want to be there. Okay. Yeah.
We last talked when you had just taken office. How would you describe your term since then to now? How have you found being the executive director of KCCA?
I think let me paint for you an image as a woman and a mother. When you have just conceived, the body fights to reject the child that you have received in the body. But after first month, second month, 3 months, the child
settles in and you become one.
And then 4th month completely settles in. I've done my 4th year, and the child is settled in the city and feels the city, feels the people, understands the terrain, the scope, the work, the challenges and how to resolve them, the team. Yeah, so we are at a very good place in terms of administration of the city. Of course, as a city, we have a huge administration. We start with the central government. We have the 2 ministers there. Then we have the Lord Mayor and 6 division mayors.
Each one with a council.
Each one with a council. When you add all our councils together, we have 457 councillors. That's an army, it's a whole parliament. Our parliament has over 500. Kampala City alone has over 457 councillors. That's where our policies, our budget is approved.
I want to take you a little back. I've seen pregnant mothers.
Yes.
And the analogy you have given. Yes. Can one take it that the experience they face of the 3 months, yes, you faced something like that?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes.
Kindly break it down.
Let me put it this way. If you take the womb as the city and the child as the new ED, the office, it is like the city is trying to say, is she behaving like ED? Because there's always a reference. I remember when President Museveni had just come into power, we used to say, is he like the other one, you know? So, yeah, feeling the terrain, because you have to be you. You cannot be another person. You have to wear the shoes that fit on you. And some people can look at you and say, she should be like this, or she should be like this. And also you say, I need to be like this. Yeah, so you experience that kind of turbulence. But after a while, you just know this is human nature, and I have to be who I am.
What mostly gave you a hard time in the 4 years, in the first 3 months of the pregnancy?
In the first 3 months of the pregnancy, yes. I remember one particular counselor told me, do you want to know?
Please tell us.
Yeah, tuwe kumasape. I'm not like that, you see. Even if I try, I would fall flat on the ground. And then the other thing is going to council and the expectations there and the attacks of the councillors about things you've done or not done. That was foreign. That was hard. But I overcame it, relating with the Lord Mayor and the division mayors, you know, the City Executive Council Committee, which is the cabinet of the Lord Mayor, meeting with them regularly. All those were new terrain.
And that brings me to something.
Yes.
Some time back, every time we would come here with cameras, actually, not more than 2 months, in an interval of 2 months or something, we would run here for a scandal between the technical wing and the political wing.
Yes. Maybe not as scandal,
after some time, we would run here, we would send a reporter here. There is a scuffle at KCCA. And commonly it was between the political wing and the pooling of callers between the two teams was just too much. What kind of magic did you come in with?
I don't know whether I would call it magic, but we've taken advantage of the law. The law has a provision for us to interact with the political side regularly. It's called the City Executive Committee, which is chaired by the Lord Mayor, which I call his cabinet. The Lord Mayor meets with his cabinet, and the ED interacts together with the directors. Some directors are according to the agenda of the day in that committee, so that we sort out issues before they go to council. Sometimes, most of the time, we've sorted them out quite to a certain degree. Sometimes we don't agree, and it goes to council and is chaotic, but we try as much as possible, because council is not for the executive director. Council is for the Lord Mayor, it is for the Speaker, it is their terrain. So for me, chewing through things is at the cabinet level of the Lord Mayor. So we try to use those structures very much. We also try to interact with the divisions through our town clerks. Their councils are working very efficiently. With the ministers, we have top management committee, which meets regularly. So I think skirmishes and scuffles and misunderstandings come because we don't talk. It doesn't mean that we have completely resolved it, but they are minimized.
You have some structural disagreements,
yes,
but and you explain well that actually you have tried to handle in the structures. But don't you think it takes some personal attributes, issues to do with character? And personally, how have you handled it?
Not so much character, but personality.
Yes.
You see, as persons, we have different ways of dealing with things. Some people boil at room temperature. I've heard of that phrase. Some people are peace lovers, and some people are always looking for resolving conflicts. I think I'm one of those. I always ask what is going on and how can we resolve it. Not every conflict can be managed, but people want to know that they've been validated, they've been heard, they've been seen.
You deny them that?
They will fight you forever. They'll fight you forever. And let me tell you about human nature, about people who work together. We are all looking for advantage of some kind. We are all looking for benefit. If I keep denying you of that benefit, you'll fight me. So if there is something within the structure, within the law, within the community, within the business you're transacting together that gives you a benefit and gives me a benefit, let's avail that benefit to each other so that we can work together. We are here for a very, very short time. Our administration is for so many years, and then younger people will come and take over. And it doesn't pay to live a life of strife every single day of your life.
So I'll go direct. How have you found working with the Lord Mayor Because the same Lord Mayor that your predecessors had issues with is the very one you're working with.
When I was appointed,
Yes.
everybody feared for my life because of the Lord Mayor. They thought I wouldn't survive a day with the reputation the Lord Mayor had of always bombarding people and being loud on media. So I made it a point very early in my tenure to meet with him. Actually, I think 3 days after I'd sworn in, I made an appointment to go and meet with him. And the person I met was so different from the person I'd been seeing on media. He was cordial. He was cracking jokes around law because he's a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. We had so much common ground on that. And generally, we had a cordial relation, our first meeting. So it reduced my tension. It reduced my apprehension.
And changed your expectations.
And changed my expectations. So I drew up a structure with my team on how to continue working with the Lord Mayor in structured meetings together with his cabinet. And I think to a great extent that has assisted us to talk. We talk very hard at each other. We argue a lot, but it is not in the open. We argue in cabinet, in his cabinet, and we try to resolve issues. But recently, I think you must have seen the big skirmishes around casual workers, the riots which were
We'll talk about them. You see, like you said, on arrival, there were expectations that everybody threw at you, telling you, warning you, and the expectations were that because of the previous kind of times.
Yeah, it's true.
I deal with politicians in our works, plus the public. Now, we are just taking the advantage of this moment to clear the air.
Yes.
The word out there, Baliabona.
Yes. Oh, Bambi.
The word there is that you and the Lord Mayor agreed on some sharing and things like that.
Okay.
That's why we no longer have scandals in KCC.
The law, the payroll assigns a salary to the ED. It assigns a salary to the Lord Mayor. Let me say to the political side. Yes. Well, like I told you, we have 457. That's a very, very big budget. And the technical side has its own budget. Do they get paid their money? Absolutely, 100%. Do we receive ours? 100%. Now, Baliabona, I don't know what it means beyond that. Even if you brought the Lord Mayor here, he would tell you the thing. We are very, very passionate. I think I would say so, both of us are very passionate about doing things right and putting down systems that would outlive us. We try to go through these, the ordinances we are drawing, the regulations, the harmonization of things that are troubling us. I think that's what has helped a lot. And it's not him only, his cabinet, beyond cabinet. We meet in my office, we tackle through these things, we talk through them. We have opportunity for really chewing over. It's not just about money. You know, you don't get on in life just...
It's a public misunderstanding.
Oh, I didn't know, by the way, that it was there, that perception is there. But I think they've been misdirected. It's nothing like that at all.
I had an interview with one of your divisional mayors, and he told me, actually, I want us to shift back to the local government line. Even if I want to buy pens for my staff here at the division, I must write to City Hall a memo, and they send money. If they don't have money, I will wait. If they are busy, I will wait, and nothing can go on here at my division. What is your view about
Devolution.
the devolution of service delivery from you here at City Hall down?
I support it 100%. You see, there are so many services to the people of Kampala, and you cannot wait for the sweeping of roads to be conducted from City Hall. When there is a division mayor, yes, there is a town clerk in Machindye, there is a whole staff, we have a whole team there. So devolution must work. Devolution must work. There are some things that have to stay at the center where we share services like roads, you know, roads construction. But roads maintenance is at the division level. Like garbage collection, where we collect and take it, that has to be at the city hall. But collecting it within the division must be at the division. So it's nothing we are opposed to as a people, but it is devolving slowly. Let me put it that way.
What is giving birth to the slow, the slowness?
Okay. What it's more about how Minister of Finance opens up votes for different divisions. So KCCA has one vote, and it is held here at City Hall. The divisions don't have individual votes. So the money, the accounting officer for the city is one. The divisions don't have an accounting officer. So the accounting officer takes care of the expenses and accounts for how the budget has been utilized. Really, that's it.
Wouldn't people then think that the slowness of the devolution of the service delivery should be blamed on to you or your
We
office?
have requested, and there is evidence that we've requested Minister of Finance to effect this, and they are in the process of effecting it. Devolution is a desire of us here and the people at the divisions. Nobody is saying no to it. We need it, and it must happen.
But the slow nature is not your doing.
Yeah, it's a bureaucratic thing. It is how government has chosen to allot votes, and that is a role Minister of Finance executes.
As KCCA, do you have any kind of proposals to it, to maybe proposals for a change in that? And what would those proposals be?
In terms of practice, even though there is one...
Because that means it is the one killing your image as KCCA. When people see garbage, poor road maintenance in the divisions,
Yes.
they think it is you, KCCA, yet actually
Of
the problem
course,
is
it is KCCA, but KCCA has leadership at every division. It's like there is a duplication of leadership. What is at City Hall is completely at every division. Because you have, the town clerk is like the ED there. You have a mayor. You have the ward administrator. You have parish chiefs. You have officers. You have all sorts of people who are doing the various works at divisions. Nothing should really slow down service delivery, because not having a vote does not mean that you don't collect rubbish. That's an issue of administration. Like I told you, every division has its own independent administration. It has gangs for repairing the roads. It has circles for collecting, for cleaning, for sweeping, for landscaping. Every division, we plan for it and we cater for it in terms of the budget and in terms of the personnel to do the various works. So we need to strengthen the supervision in our administration so that we can get better service delivery.
Who is sleeping on the job in that area?
There's nobody sleeping on the job.
In areas where we have gaps in such kind of instances, where you're talking of road maintenance in the divisions, and if you're to give marks, it's not even 50% in such kind of instances.
I wouldn't say so, by the way. I think you are enslaved to history. You are talking about 2020 and 2021. But I'm telling you, for instance, in January alone, we did 35 kilometers in Makindye division, 10 roads in Makindye. This was just before the NAM summit and the G77 and China. 35 kilometers. There was cleaning of the roads, there was paving of the walkways, there was planting of trees and flowers and palm trees. There was so you were enslaved to what used to be, but every division has picked up on these things. We are doing the clean and green campaign. We have circles, our circles who are working in the divisions. They do an excellent work of cleaning the divisions. Yes, there may be, we've not got to 100%, but we have stepped up our service delivery. When it comes to the roads in particular, that is a very important part to talk about in terms of repairing the potholes, patching works. Sometimes we are encumbered because of budget. But the system, the plan, the methodology on how to do this is already there in the divisions, because every division is equipped to repair potholes as soon as they are seen or patched. But sometimes we are encumbered by budget. Now, however, we have now these new, completely overhauled and refurbished roads, which the government has released a complete budget for them. And those are going on course. So wherever you go now in Kampala, you'll find roads being done. If you go to Nakawa here, we have Old Port Bell Road. It is under construction. It's on course. By December this year, we'll have at least 3 kilometers of new tarmac. Spring Road is being done. The drainage there has been completely overhauled. You go to Makindye, we did the Auto Spa, which was a very bad spot for drainages. We did Soya Bunga, it is completely done. You go to Lubaga, you find Kabega Road, Luafu Road, Wamala Road, Chigala Road. All these were Maram roads which are now fully tarmacked. And we are moving to Kawempe, we are moving to the Central Division. So we are moving. Government has released money, and our work is to work fast and make sure that these roads are all done.
Okay. I was going to talk about the potholes. Yes, you talked about areas where they are being worked on.
Yes.
But you have some places within the city center,
Yes.
Kampala Central,
Yes.
where potholes are really a menace, a big problem.
It's true. I accept industrial area, 5th Street, 6th Street, 7th Street, 8th Street are completely potholed. But as we speak now, they are being worked on. And it is on course. They are working day and night to ensure that those roads are done. The other very bad road is Sir Apollo Kagwa Road. It's being done. They work day and night. If you go there, even in the evening, you'll find them working. We have some very bad roads in Kololo, Prince Charles Drive, but in the new project, the GCAM, what we call the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area Project, we are doing all those roads there in the Kololo area, which have grown old. These roads did not just get potholed. These roads have served us for over 20 years, some for over 25 years, and they've become old. But without a budget to overhaul the whole stretch, you really are just patching here and it opens up there. But now government has released the money. We are doing a total overhaul of those roads. And we believe in by next year, by December, most of these roads will completely be done.
So problem has always been budget.
Yes. Yes. With roads, you see, with roads, it's not like planting grass, that if you have 1 million, you can plant in a large area. Roads start in billions. Roads need huge, huge trucks. This project, government released money, and we have trucks. We have the contractors. The design reviews have been done, and the men are on site and they are working. Roads need money. There are no two ways about it. You cannot play around with roads with little patchworks.
Okay. How about
especially roads in the city. Do you know Kampala, we get over 600,000 people every single day coming into the city. The heavy trucks going to Rwanda, heavy trucks going to Kenya. Our roads are overutilized. So we must do a strong job when we do a road. You can't do little things.
Thank you so much, Madam Edie. We are taking a short break. On return, we'll give that budget issue a little some more time. How much you think would be enough for you as cases here? Because the MPs are watching, and whoever does budget allocation is watching. To you watching, if you stay or work in Kampala, I'm sure this is the best program for you this weekend. Keep it with us. Let's get a break.
Every marriage has 100% chances of succeeding. You know why? Because God created marriage, and God never creates failure, and God never designs anything to fail. Every marriage has 100% chances of succeeding. Is your marriage struggling and you're wondering, whether it will ever succeed, whether you will ever make it, whether it's even worth holding on to, you got to tune into Unlocking Marital Bliss. Because right here, we provide the keys to unlock the bliss in your marriage, and you will be able to succeed. We've had testimonies, and lives are changing day by day.
Marriage must be a discipline. It must not be handled like a casual thing.
As women, when we have the outward expression, even our form of respect is tied to the outward things that you do.
Some women now have working class. They don't know how to handle their husbands because the marriage has become like question and answer marriage. Do you have any tea? Don't you have hands to prepare it? Why have you come back late? Did I take your blanket? It's question and answer marriage.
Not any other place, but every Sunday, 3 p.m., right here at UBC. With the one and only Cyrus Rod, not any other. Unlocking Marital Bliss.
One-on-one on UBC, we thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. We are concentrating on the state of affairs in Kampala, capital city, and we are having a chat with the Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, Mrs. Dorothy Kisaka here. Thank you so much if you have just joined, and for you who has been here all along, let's continue. Madam Edie, welcome back from the break.
Thank you.
You hinted on the issue of the budget. Actually, the mayor, the division mayor I talked to,
Yes.
told me.
Who is this?
Actually, this is Salim Uhul.
Okay.
He told me nobody should blame Madam Kisaka. These people cut KCCA budget by half. What people used to get previously is not what she gets. So what you ask her, she can't give you. Is this true?
When it comes to roads in particular, we used to get, the budget used to be 26 billion for every quarter. 26 billion from Uganda Road Fund for the year. That would mean you get at least 6 billion per quarter to work with. Would you believe what the budget was cut down from 2020? To 10 billion in a year. Not even 50%, to something like 35%.
From 26 to 10.
To 10. And you get a little in the first quarter, right up to the fourth quarter. That means it's the road suffering. And when you're talking about a smart city, one of the things you look at immediately are roads. But the roads budget was cut. And so it put us in a very awkward situation. Even places that could be patched could not be patched. We had to focus on small. Yeah, but that has changed now. Still, the budget from Uganda Road Fund is 10 billion. The one for patching roads is, but we've got a significant budget this financial year, which will enable us to focus on roads specifically. For the first time, we are getting a budget which is 800 billion Neziguam, and our key focus, actually more than 50% of that budget is roads. It's going on to overhauling, refurbishing roads. So we expect that in this financial year and maybe 6 months after, there's going to be a total overhaul of roads all around Kampala. We expect to do 80 kilometers this year, which is about 41 roads in the city alone. That's a huge, huge change. Most of the city is going to be like a work site, but the outcome of that is going to be very
Beautification.
Yes.
We are seeing demolition of roundabouts.
Yes.
Give us some light on that.
Okay. We are very, very, I don't want to say proud, but we are very delighted that we have finalized the work of building the Traffic Control Center, which is now situated here at City Hall, magnificent building of 4 stories. We are beginning the process of equipping it so that we can use it for controlling traffic, for managing traffic in the...
When you say controlling, what exactly does it entail?
Okay. So it's going to have the equipment that connects with the signalization of the junctions, evitala, you know, the traffic lights. So we are removing 27 roundabouts from the city and instead putting junctions with traffic lights, so signalization. And that controlling those signals is going to be based here at KCCA so that we can, I'm told it's a new technology where you don't have to say we have to wait for 5 minutes when we get to the lights, but there is a management that knows there is much congestion there isn't, and it controls that. It is some side.
It releases a side that has more traffic.
Yes. So you see work is going on at Mulago roundabout, at Kubiri roundabout, even the one going to the Mulago, where the coffins are. The neonatal hospital. Yes. So all those roundabouts, those are 3 there. We have one on Old Kida Road, one at Spear House. In total, 27 around. Even the one at Speak Road, Imperial, next to Grand Imperial. All those roundabouts are going to be removed, and we expect this work to be finished by April 25. We'll have a brand new city. Infrastructure development is one of our key priorities in the city right now, because if we can enable decongestion of the city, if we can enable connectivity so that a person coming from Lunguja going to Chanja has some side roads which are well done and they can go quickly, it hastens, it works even on our economy. Being in the traffic and laying there, taking 3 hours to go to work and taking 3 hours to go back home, is 6 hours lost in a day. So infrastructure improvement is a big priority for the city. And government has released at least 2 budgets have been released now. We expect another budget under a 3rd project to be released so that we focus on improving the roads in the city.
We heard of a plan that was supposed to keep trailers and big buses out of Kampala.
Yes.
Is that plan still there?
It's part of...
Because we register a number of accidents with those buses and trailers.
It is there. It is part of our KCRP, Kampala City Roads Rehabilitation Project. It has a component of buying land or turning land that we have around the city so that the heavy trucks can stay out of the city and they don't have to congest the city during the work hours. They can have controlled hours when they move, maybe in the night, and it's part of decongesting the city. That is going to happen within this project that we are managing right now.
And that brings me now to our brothers and sisters in the border and the taxi matatu industry. Yes. When we had just crossed from the local government to the KCCA way of doing things, there was a lot of discussions to do with the taxi industry. And we remember of agreements of them disbanding UTODA and they started paying to you. Is that still the trend?
Okay.
Do they still pay to you, the taxi drivers?
The taxi drivers, we collect revenue
from them,
from the taxis. It is regulated under a law which was enacted by government. But let me talk about the way they are organized.
Exactly.
There is
their way of working in the city
Uganda Taxi Owners Federation, UTOF, is an umbrella body that brings together about 6 organizations that used to fight each other to manage the taxis. But in 2022, I believe, we had so many stakeholder engagements right here at City Hall, resolving conflicts, talking about the benefits of having one umbrella organization where they can all relate. And luckily now they are doing that. They have their own committees, they do their own administration. Sometimes they invite us to open this or open the other. But that has brought relative peace. I think you've hardly heard about any scuffles in the taxi industry. It's just that as the city gets more congested with more people living in the city, we want to have buses also which evacuate large numbers of people from the city. But that's an area for private investors to support what government is doing.
As in having the taxis here and the buses as well?
Yes, yes. Of course, if they are...
Replace the taxis.
You can't do that. It's just like you can't completely replace the borders. You can reduce them, but you cannot completely replace. Because you see, the border serves an end mile user. Somebody who goes mukalo, you know, a little bit in the village. What we want to work on is reduce the congestion in the city, but let them be on the sides of the city. We used to have over 2,000 stages for borders, for instance. Now we have reduced that to 400, about 450 stages for borders.
In so doing, as KCCA, how have you touched the industry, the border industry, and its challenges?
The things, I'll tell you, one of the things we've spent time doing, which can't be seen, but it is ongoing, it is stakeholder engagements. To get taxi people to make a decision, to take border to make a decision, to take cleaners to make a decision. This large number of people, you have to talk, you have to engage, you have to meet them in small groups and large groups. We've done that continuously, and we continue to do that, so that they are the ones actually leading the process. We are guiding. It is their business. Border is their business. But we are guiding on how it can be done better, so that there is harmony, coexistence. Personal cars, buses, taxis, and borders. Yes. They all have to live in the city. We can't just evacuate all of them. But can we do it in an orderly manner? Can we, for instance, Central Business District, evacuate it of the borders so that we have maybe the big buses? Those are conversations that you cannot say, I'll score in one sitting. It's an ongoing conversation.
You have not yet zeroed on a final plan in as far as borders and taxis.
The plan is there. The plan is to evacuate the borders from Central Business District. But the implementation is a process, because we have to prepare the outskirts where we are taking them. There have to be shelters. There has to be the tarmacked areas where they park. We have to do sensitization of the community. It is a whole process. There is licensing. Most of these borders are not licensed. Many of them don't know even how to ride. They can ride, but they don't know how to ride. So all those things are ongoing. It is part of what
they have now become a security threat.
Yes.
You have watched the clips.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
As KCCA, how are you looking at this?
Yeah. This is a work that we have to do in partnership with police. Yeah, because security is the police's mandate. But administration of the traffic is part of our mandate. So we are working together. These conversations are ongoing, and we have a plan, which I'm not sharing here, but it is there.
In how long should we expect this?
The steps that need to be taken, it depends on the accomplishment of the steps. So there is the setting up of the stages, there is the training, the licensing of the borders, and there is another thing we are thinking of migrating from petrol to electric borders, because again that also affects our air quality a lot. So it is that progression. If we can achieve it fast, then you see the plan implemented first.
Even the steps you're taking, do you think are the ones that may delay us?
Yeah, but they are needed.
Of engaging them,
It's very much needed.
engaging them.
You can't gain results working through people without engagement. You can use force. You can use force. It's a way of working. It is one way of working. But you can use both. If you've brought enough education, then you regulate with force. But if there is no sensitization, and you are just coming and chasing them off the streets, it becomes a very difficult thing to administer. And you look like you've gained, but you lose the ground that you've already gained. So we want to do something for posterity. You know, Kampala is not leaving. It's not leaving us. So let's prepare for it properly, so that those who come 2 years, 3 years after us find an order which is continuous, which is working.
They build on that.
Yeah, let's build on something.
This seems to be your way of work.
Absolutely. Let me tell you, we need systems. We need systems. When God created the world, He said, let there be, what did he say? Let there be light.
Yes.
And there was day and there was night, and it has never stopped. It's a system you can rely on. There will be day, there will be night.
But the bulldozer way will take out something.
If we didn't have the system of day and night, you'd say, oh, I wonder when to become dark. I wonder when to become light. Now you know. Everybody knows. Every day I have a deposit of 12 hours daytime. And that's what I would like us to establish, systems in what we do, so that the border knows, when I buy my border, I go to KCCA, I get a license, I go to a school, I'm trained, I get my jacket, and I'm located in Machindie. If I follow that system, I'm safe. Not a border just waking up, you buy a border and you find him in Kawempe, you find him everywhere. You can't regulate him. So that becomes a security risk for the country, because you don't know where he is. But if we know all the yellow jackets are in Kawempe, all the green jackets are in Makindi, all the blue jackets are in Nakawa, we have a system that we are using. That's really what we are building, so that there is posterity in the transport industry.
Vendors had a road designated for them
Yes.
to do business every Sunday. What went wrong? Why did you find this not right?
So we came in during COVID, so it was not there already.
Yes.
It was not there. And then when COVID ended and people flooded the streets, they were literally everywhere. They were here at Parliament Avenue. Every place had people, vendors. So in 21, at the beginning of 21, we started a campaign which we call the Smart City campaign, to get the vendors off the streets and back into the markets. By the way, at that time, the markets themselves were empty because people had come. There was a scarcity that required people to sell very quickly, so they would just pour things on the verandas. Yeah. One time I was walking down on Gulum Street, actually, you'd find shoes, you'd find roasted chicken, you'd find tomatoes, you find clothes, all on the verandas. We succeeded. It took about 3 months, January to March. We succeeded. It was a gentle campaign. It was done by some of our staff here. They first sensitized. The whole of December they were sensitizing. In January they moved in and pushed people out, and they were relocated in an area we found in Chisenyi temporarily to work there as vendors. Now your question is, why don't we designate a road for Sunday? Is because if we open up that window, it will just be spread once again. What you have to be aware is people in the shops are paying taxes. They pay licenses, and they are denied the opportunity to sell their goods because these vendors have spread out from the door up to the whole piece of the veranda. So we want people who have shops to have opportunity to realize the benefits of their taxes, and let vendors also go back to the markets or have a designated chibangirizi where they trade from. Trading spaces is one of the challenges of Kampala right now. We lack trading spaces for people who are selling their wares. The government has a plan to do 2 markets in every division. It has not yet been funded, but that's the plan. We need to find places where people trade. If we don't, then people will continue trading on the verandas, and then we'll continue chasing them away, which is not good.
You still have brutal law enforcement teams.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, yes.
Do they have to be that brutal?
Sometimes,
throwing people
sometimes
on
in enforcing law and order. Trade order is one of the most difficult areas of administration in the city. Sometimes they use force. I'm not condoning it, but sometimes they are forced. They are forced to do that because of the reaction they are getting. We want to stop those things. I think I've talked to you already about our campaign of disseminating information and knowledge about what the KCCA services. Yes. I think people are ignorant. Many people don't know some of the services we offer, and some people don't know their rights when they are being pushed left and right and center. We want to partner with you, UBC, to ensure that we are telling our people what they need to do, what's going on, where they can trade, how they should behave, where they shouldn't sell, all those things. I don't condone our law enforcement fighting with, no, I don't condone that at all. But I'm also telling at the same time, vendors stop trading in places where you shouldn't be trading.
The markets in Kampala have been, I'll say, a problem for a very long time.
It's true.
There is a time
Apparently.
we had the story of Kavuyo in Owino,
Yes.
and yourself with your team, you had gone to ensure a handover of the
Yes.
market from one person over to KCCA. What is the current state of the situation of the markets in Kampala?
In 2020, September, we received a government directive saying KCCA should take over all the markets in Kampala, the public markets. There are 15 public markets, and they had been in the administration of association leaders who were drawing money, but it was not being remitted to government or anything like that. It was for themselves. So in March 21, we took over the markets. That is the SCAFO. You're calling the SCAFO. Yes. We were taking the markets away from the association leaders back to KCCA. And there was some resistance in that. As I speak now, we have taken over all the markets. We have KCCA staff who are called market masters and administrators in the markets. They are taking care of the administration aspects. The vendors still have the mandate to take care of their own welfare. You know, they are collecting money for people who have died or supporting one or the other. That is theirs. But taking care of the facilities is a KCCA mandate. And we have KCCA staff collecting revenue from the markets. And we also want now, this year, to begin collecting the rentals from the properties. Some properties belong to government, some don't belong to government. But those which belong to government will be collecting rentals from those. Markets are dynamic places. You find all sorts of people there. And our goal, our immediate goal is to ensure that the infrastructure is improved. Recently, we tarmacked most of Owino Market. We've put solar lights. We were blessed to have a strategic partnership with one of our residents who facilitated that, so that we put lights in Owino. But we want to do it for all our 15 markets to improve the infrastructure. Last week we launched one of the toilets in Bokoto, which again UBL supported us to do that. We are improving the infrastructure, the look, the trading space, how it looks, and therefore how people function, so that they can gain more economic value.
There were complaints about the legality of you, KCCA, taking over these markets, where vendors had paid for their own titles, they had taken steps to seek for ownership of this land. So they had legal questions about you taking over these markets. How did you sort that?
It's not completely sorted yet, and we are solving it case by case. All the markets don't look the same. Some markets, government owns everything, the land and the buildings, but there are some where residents built their own lockups. So we are looking at them case by case and resolving them. We can't use, government has no intention of taking that which does not belong to it. So we as administrators must ensure that justice prevails.
Physical planning.
Yes.
Okay, we no longer have cases of buildings that fall on people and things like that. Yes. Do you have any new plans in that area?
Physical planning, we have made great progress on this. We launched the Smart Permit, where people who want plans can log online from the comfort of their own locations, whether their homes or offices, and all the transactions will go on online. This had actually started years ago, but it had broken down. But this year it is up and running. So we encourage our residents, you don't have to come and interact with KCCA staff at City Hall. You can log on online, and this system is going to be even improved. In this year, it's one of our goals to ensure that physical planning processes are going well. But I think you're also talking about ensuring that people are building according to plans. Yeah, that is where devolution again works, because we can't control that at City Hall, but our division structures. We have a building inspector, we have physical planners at all the divisions, and those are some of the things that they are doing. That's some of the work they are doing. They inspect the premises. They are always in the field, ensuring that the physical plan, they are adhering to physical planning regulations.
It is the cause of the funny drainage system that we have.
Drainage is one of our challenges. It's a big challenge and historical. It is historical because if you build on the drainage itself, water will always find
But now such a person will flash a plan approved with his house.
which is unfortunate.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, it's a human failing, you know, where you know this is evil and you still do the wrong. But we are dealing with these corrupt ways very, very seriously now, and we believe they are going to stop.
Do we have any other bigger plans that KCCA is looking at as we're winding up?
Yes. Let me tell you the big plan we have. Roads. Roads is number one. Roads and drainages in the city is number one, it is number two, and it is number three. As KCCA, we are championing a smart city agenda, and it is premised on three priorities. The first one is technological advance. If we can do it with technology, let's do it with technology to ease service delivery. That is a key thing. So the smart permit, the traffic control, the call center, all the things that enable the residents to communicate with us and us to serve them without digitally. Yeah. The second priority in our smart city agenda is infrastructure improvement. So we are talking roads, drainages, schools, health centers, lighting, walkways, toilets, all those things. We have prioritized them in this financial year, and we are ticking off what needs to be done in that priority line. And the final one is people well-being, the livelihood of people, the homesteads quality. So PDM is one of our key programs. We've disbursed 9.7 billion in this last financial year through Ministry of Finance, enabled 99 of our circles to get their money, and it's going to happen again this year. Air quality, that is another thing about people's livelihood. Air quality and health centers, the kind of service that we offer at the health centers. KCCA is one of the best performing health facilities. We were awarded the top performers. Kawala was the top performer in quality care. And then education services. So technological advance, infrastructure improvement, and people well-being. Those are the three priorities. We check our outputs based on those three priorities, and they are moving well now.
What is your view about your schools, KCCA schools?
One of the things we want to do is improve the infrastructure. We are removing all asbestos in the city. I think this financial year will be finalizing. We've been doing a little every financial year, but we are removing. We are building a new school. Is it Kasubi? I forget the name. Every year we add on some blocks. This financial year we are doing Nachivubo and Kasubi. I believe it's Kasubi. And we have 79 schools in the city. They are very crowded. We need more schools. 79 UPE schools and 22 USE schools. Infrastructure improvement is the key thing, and government is giving us funding every year a little to ensure that happens.
Okay, I cannot forget the issue of the road cleaners that went on strike, and that is the other time we had you on TV for some good days explaining. How have you sorted that, and how could KCCA fail to pay these old women?
It's a kind of a long explanation, but the short of it is that government gave us a policy which says, Bonaba Kole, you know, accommodate all groups. But by the time that came in, we had already budgeted for so many. So we got added a new number that meant that the budget we had was not enough. So the delay in getting a budget to cover for all is what caused the riots. The good news is that that is not going to be repeated again, because now we have a budget and we are going to work with that budget to ensure that our city is cleaned under the policy of Bonabakole. And we are working, we have harmonized with the political side.
The areas were paid.
The areas are fully paid. We are now at zero. There's nobody who hasn't been paid for the last financial year.
Now, this is the thing that is going to make you the most unpopular person in Kampala.
What is?
You scrapped the carnival.
No, when we came in, it was COVID.
COVID went long time ago.
No, wait a minute. Recovery from COVID has taken some time. Like I told you, a pregnancy has the first 3 months, which are traumatic. When you get into the 4th month, you start walking more securely. You wait and see. We are bringing entertainment to the city. It is a must. It may not be the carnival as you knew it, but entertainment for the city is a must.
Just a closing remark to a Kampala resident or worker watching you as we wind up.
Kampala city is a smart city. We are building a smart city together. It's everybody's job. Right now we are in the campaign of clean and green. Your trading spaces, your sleeping spaces, clean and green, or paint and pave. Everybody doing their little part is what is going to deliver a smart city. On our part, we are championing the smart city agenda, and please be part of it.
Thank you so much for the time and whatever we have shared.
Thank you.
Her name is Mrs. Dorothy Kisaka. She's the Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority. We had to take on some time to talk to her because at least this is the dream for every Ugandan. This is the destination for every one of us, the 45 million people. But how is the area? And I'm sure you took a lot from the discussion. Thanking you so much for watching. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa. With the whole team here, wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.